Okay, so I'm putting together this video to give you a short rundown on how to install this Orbit rain freeze sensor, and specifically I'm installing it on an Orbit B-Hyve Wi-Fi timer, and it's presented some difficulties in installing. Should be pretty straightforward and take about 5 minutes, but instead I spent 2 hours, so I thought I'd share my experience and what isn't mentioned in the installation guide that might help others. Anyway, I wanted to add this so that it would not activate my sprinkler system. It would override or create a delay if it happened to rain, which it does a lot in our area. Contents of the box include mounting hardware, the sensor itself, the manual, and then you'll notice over here this is a receiver that has to be hardwired into your timer controller. Pretty straightforward. The receiver you just have to mount somewhere near within 6 inches of the timer itself, and then as part of the wiring you should already have this little wire already connected to the sensor. You have to take that off, and then you need to go ahead and wire the two red wires, connect those to the 24 volt out here, and then the white and yellow sensor wires here. The order of the white and yellow doesn't matter, and the red doesn't matter either, as long as it's red on red, and then no other changes need to be made to your existing wiring. You think that would be it. Some of the videos I looked at indicated there was a switch that I had to enable on the Orbit, and this particular timer has no switch that I can find, so it's made installation a little bit tricky and frustrating because the instructions don't tell you what to do after you wire it. They just say wire it, press the manual button, make sure that it stops watering, and it doesn't. Whenever I start a zone manually on my phone and would hit this button, nothing would happen. Or you can also test it using the sensor here, pressing the button, nothing would happen. Well, fortunate for somebody who on Amazon had posted a review and they'd contacted tech support, little did I know that you actually have to, after wiring everything, press and hold the rain delay button, and this is how you manually turn the switch for the sensor. So you press and hold that button until it says sensor on. So there it says sensor off. I press and hold it again until it says sensor on. And this is not mentioned anywhere. And even after you enable the sensor, if I go on my phone and manually start a zone to test it and then press the override or the sensor button here, it doesn't shut off that zone. And the only thing I can guess is because I manually start a zone, it assumes that I want to ignore the sensor delay. And so it's been very frustrating. But what I did find out is when I manually start one on here and then trigger the override or the sensor switch, then it told me yes, it's effectively working, and it would stop it. So quite confusing, but I do believe I have it wired correctly, and I do believe that if it rains while I'm running one of my zones, it will stop it. So anyway, just wanted to show you what's involved. The wiring is pretty straightforward. Just go ahead and connect your white and your yellow to the two posts that indicate sensor, and the two reds to the power. Make sure, of course, you turn the unit off before you start any of this. There will be a little black wire already in the sensor post. You just have to remove that, hang on to it in case you ever get rid of your rain sensor. And then operation of the receiver is pretty simple. Anytime that there's rain, I'm pressing on it right now on the rain sensor, and you can see how it's activating. You can hear it. Or if you want to manually override your system, you can. Like I said, you'll actually have to manually run a zone from here to test it to make sure that it's functioning properly. But if you do that, or if you have it set on auto and it's running and it detects rain, then it should work just fine.